Hope you're ready. It'll be here any minute.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
Bingo!
All right.
Follow the conductor!
This is the way.
Now, whatever you do, don't push this button.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know how this machine worked.
Jarvis, drop my needle.
Roger, control. All status go.
Another happy landing.
Let's start the show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Geek Conclave Mixtapes. I'm your host, Eddie Fergoso. Some news dropped, 3 hours ago? 2 hours ago? Pretty devastating news. That voice you hear is Tommy. So I'm going to bring him in. Before I do that, I'm just going to do a little podcast 101 that I do. Please don't forget to like or rate this podcast on Apple Podcasts or YouTube. Leave a comment, like it, subscribe if you want to. Just give me some type of feedback so I can make this thing better. And with that said, I'm just going to switch over to Tommy and Paul. Here we go. How's it going, guys? And as you can see, Tommy actually is a moving person, not just a still image that stays there for a while. And last episode, I don't know if you guys watched it, I did turn him into a fall guy. I couldn't animate him, but I did turn him into a fall guy. So he's just a chicken fall guy. But yeah, so you guys can kind of see the background that I made. You guys can't, but right now it is DC Fandome will be the topic. But before we get to DC Fandome, we're going to talk about the devastating news that happened at around 7:30. Chadwick Boseman did pass away this evening due to cancer, colon cancer, stage 4. He died at age 43. So, I'm not going to lie to you, I've been pretty sad since that's happened. Watched some clips that I probably shouldn't have watched that made me teary-eyed, so I don't know if my eyes look red. I was crying. You guys have anything to say?
You want to go?
Yeah, whoever wants to say something.
You first.
Nah, just shocked. He was a great actor. He had real important roles. He was Jackie Robinson. I think he played Thurgood Marshall in, I forget the name of the movie. And then
he's James Brown too.
James Brown. I know it's comic book and make believe, but he was a role model with he killed it in the Black Panther role. I was thinking, it sucks, they're gonna have to recast it, but I was glad that we were able to see him in the movies that he was in, with Civil War, Black Panther, and Infinity War, and Endgame. So we were able to see him for that short period of time, but I'm glad we got that little. It's only 4 movies, but I'm glad he was there at least, you know?
Yeah.
So prayers go out to his family and his friends, and condolences go out to all of them too as well.
More stuff.
Likewise. For me, I just thought it was very interesting because April 15th is normally Jackie Robinson Day, and with the whole COVID thing, MLB had to change it up, and it's actually today. That's why even before I heard the news, I was already wearing my Jackie Robinson jersey. So when I heard the news, I was just like, oh my god, what this is unbelievable. The whole connection from Jackie Robinson to himself, it's just crazy. But yeah, I was just going through Twitter, reading everybody's responses back, and it's just a profound cultural impact that he has.
Yeah.
So we lost 2 kings, Kobe and himself. It's just been a bad year. So
yeah. Pardon my French, but fuck 2020. This year is fucking garbage. Yeah, the thing that made me teary-eyed was I watched the Jimmy Fallon clip where people were talking to the poster. Dude, that broke me because it's just the impact he had.
Well, for me, as the mother of a young son, My son's childhood has been defined by Barack Obama and now Black Panther, so thank you.
Hey, that's way too much praise for Barack Obama. Black Panther. You guys, you are gorgeous. Gorgeous family.
That is unexpected.
Gorgeous for the
Amazing. Thank you. Wow, what a surprise.
It just sucks. And then people like tweeting, like one tweet got me. I put it on my Instagram story, the one where it says him and Kobe died the 2020. That got me. And then it was some tweet from a mom who says that, like, how am I supposed to tell my 3-year-old son that his favorite superhero is dead? Like, it's like, it's just, yeah, I know, like, I guess from a movie standpoint, comic book, like, you wonder, like, what they're going to do with that role. But, and it's, like, really way too soon to even talk about that. I hope that Disney and Marvel handle it with respect. I'm just going to go on the record and say that I'd prefer they don't recast him, and if they can somehow write him out of the story.
That's going to be tough.
We'll see. I mean, they've established that Black Panther's a mantle, so if the mantle just gets passed on to somebody else, be it his sister, or if they bring an alternate version where Michael B. Jordan comes back and is him, I don't know. But, yeah, it's also, like, the thing that gets me is that, like, the whole time he played Black Panther, dude was fighting cancer and didn't tell anybody. And that's like
Thanos with cancer.
Yeah, dude, like that's just like speaks volumes. Like, dude was like a hero while dealing with his own battles, not telling anybody. And I just feel bad because like the last 2 years, like most people didn't know why. Like, cause in certain stuff that wasn't where he was just like himself and stuff. Like, he obviously cancer takes a toll on you, so he like looked a lot skinnier, looked like he wasn't able to sleep and stuff like that, and people were like kind of bullying him about that stuff. So it kind of sucks because nobody knew why, and it's like, well, he had cancer, so yeah. But try to get through this episode because I did do a lot of prep work for the fandom stuff, but like that just dropped like right into the night, so I've been kind of sidetracked with that. And ironically, I still might do it before I go to bed. I was gonna watch 42 anyway today just because it was Jackie Robinson Day, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get through the movie. So
yeah, I was already watching a little bit of Civil War, so yep.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Okay, so we'll try to push through. So DC Fandome happened August 22nd. It's actually part 1 of a 2-parter for it. It's they split it into 2 parts. The second part will be September 12th. So the main part that was August 22nd was called Hall of Heroes, which is their Hall H, sticking with the Comic-Con format. For the September 12th version, there's going to be 5 areas you can like explore. It's Watchverse, Kidsverse, Uverse, Funverse, and Insideverse. So the schedule for that is already up on DCFandom.com. Watchverse is just some panels like for the TV show, and then a couple other like little mini panels that they had going through the Hall of Heroes stuff, like Ask Harley Quinn, the animated version questions, and it's like a panel that's basically there's an uncensored version, a censored version. The Kidsverse has the censored version, and then like Kidsverse just has like kids versions of panels. Uverse is pretty cool. It's a focus on fans. That's why it's called Uverse. So there'll be cosplay panels, artists, stuff like that. Funverse is actually pretty interesting. I might check it out. It's theme park stuff. So like the Six Flags rides, all the stuff that's DC and in theme park, it's going to be on the Funverse. And then Insiderverse is just like behind the scenes of stuff. So like one of the panels that I saw was like inside the new Batmobile. So basically like a breakdown of like the Batmobile that they showed and stuff like that. So that'll be taking place on the second part of it. So the first part is what we're going to cover today. So just quick tidbits on it. It had 22 million views that range across 220 countries. It trended Twitter on 53 markets and YouTube in 82 markets on that whole day. Granted, it was just 24 hours. The actual convention itself was only 8 hours long. It was from 10 to about 6 o'clock because each panel was about 25 minutes at the most. And then they just replayed it again. So it was the encore that happened right after. The day of it, I didn't get to really watch a lot because of work. But I did see the stuff that came out. So the main Hall H stuff that came out of it, that is considered like the big news. We're not going to cover everything because I'll be honest, I don't keep up with the TV shows anymore. That's just kind of why. Because if I do want to catch up to that, I don't want to be spoiled. So I'm sorry, I'm being selfish for that. It's the Wonder Woman panel, the Gotham Knights video game, Suicide Squad panel for the James Gunn version, the Snyder Cut panel, the Flash TV panel, Black Adam panel, the Titans panel for the Titans TV show, Aquaman, Shazam, and then the Suicide video game, and then it ended with the Batman, Matt Reeves Batman. So, we'll just jump in order I wrote them in the way they started. So the Wonder Woman panel kicked it off at 10 a.m. I know Paul said he didn't watch it. Were you able to watch the panel, Tommy?
Yeah, it's just actors talking, so I kind of lose interest really fast.
Yeah.
But I hear what they're saying. I was more the trailer itself interested me more so than them talking about it. So
yeah, that was mainly what it was for.
I kind of want to see that movie has my interest though. I want to see how they're gonna bring back Chris Pine's character.
Chris Pine.
Yeah, so that's where we got. And then what'd you think about the CG in the trailer?
I think it looked fine. So I'm assuming you're asking me about
Cheetah.
I think it looked fine. I don't know if they should have revealed it that early, but it is what it is. It depends on, I guess it just depends what you want to reveal. So I always have the mindset, I just go with the end game mindset now, even though it is DC, that if they're willing to reveal that, then maybe, that's not that big. There's got to be something bigger in the movie, because I especially with what's going on in that genre, I don't think DC would want to just blow their load super fast. So
yeah,
but I thought it looked good. Paul, did you like the trailer?
I'm kind of half and half. Like, the storyline still intrigues me. It's just the kind of look to Cheetah. What it's kind of reminded me of is like how the first Wonder Woman, I thought cinematically looked really good, like the first half, and then that last maybe third of the movie
where I say it gets too Zack Snyder
and stuff.
Yeah.
So I just hope it doesn't fall to that again, because like seeing some of the visuals in the trailer look good, and then when you see that CG, it just feels like two separate things, kind of. But yeah, that's the way that I see it. But it looks, Gal Gadot looks good.
Oh yeah. No, I've been hooked to the first trailers because of the 80s, because of the 80s theme, and the fact that they played my favorite 80s song for it, which is Blue Monday. So I've been sucked in since then. The second trailer was cool. Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for COVID, I think we would have already saw it anyway, because when it's supposed to come out in June. Something like that. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it would be one of those things that, depending on feedback, maybe they'll. Well, I don't even know if they're going to. I think it's in the can already. I think it's already finalized. But, we'll see. I still, I'm heavily interested in seeing what they're going to do with it, and what we got in the trailer, I guess the origins of how she becomes rivals with her is pretty comic, like pretty spot on from the comics. So, and Patty Jenkins looks like she did her research. I know one of the questions they asked in the panel was how was it like for the roles to reverse in this one, where it's Steve Trevor now has to come back to the 80s, a world he doesn't know, and Diana has to teach him, so they got to switch the roles, which I think is a pretty cool dynamic. So I'm interested to see how that gets explored. Do you guys have anything else to say about Wonder Woman, or is that pretty much it?
No, I think I'm just ready to watch it. Been ready to watch it since a couple months.
Yeah.
Since 2019.
Ready to go back to see a movie in the theaters. Some Dolby in my life.
Yeah, I know.
But
whenever that's gonna be.
does that one have a release date or it's tentative?
It's September, I think. If,
September.
let me double check that.
Tentatively.
Actually. Oh, October 2nd. So it's released to October 2nd.
Hopefully everything's okay by then.
I don't know, man. We'll see. I'm being optimistic, but I'm not optimistic. Like I said, fuck this year. So the next thing that got revealed really fast was the Gotham Knights game by Studio Montreal. So you guys both saw the trailer for that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen the gameplay as well.
So, what's your guys' first impressions of it?
I think it looks cool. If it's anything like the Arkham series, I think that could be cool. Because like the whole time when you're playing with two characters and you just never get to play with both of them at the same time, I think if they do it right, I think it'd be really, really nice. I did notice, like in the trailer, the gameplay part of it, it was a little wonky, I think, because either like the enemies aren't reacting fast enough to certain people, but I don't know. It's a good first trailer for it, though. I liked it. Yeah.
Tommy?
Yeah. They're the makers of Arkham Origins. No, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Arkham Origins.
So, I mean, they had some cool boss battles in that game. Because my biggest complaint with Arkham Knight was there wasn't any boss battles, I don't think, in Arkham Knight. The gameplay and graphics were cool in Arkham Knight, but they didn't have any boss battles. So I thought they did boss battles really cool in the Arkham Origins. So I'm just hoping they pull it off. Like I'm hoping that the first run in Arkham Origins kind of like got their feet wet in the genre, and however they're making the Batman video games, so I'm hoping they perfect it in this one and they knock it out the park, because it all comes down to the gameplay. If they could pull off the co-op, like that'd be really fun playing just playing co-op online with Robin, Batgirl, Red Hood, and they say Batman's dead, but you know Batman's gonna be in there somewhere. So if they could pull it off, I'm really looking forward to that game, and it comes out next year too, so I don't have to wait too long.
Yeah.
And watch Batman's not playable.
It might be one of those things that you depending if it's not for the storyline, I could see it being like you play him in a flashback, like maybe he's the tutorial level, something like that. But I mean, if it's following like a comic book story, because the villains at the end looks like it's gonna be Court of Owls. So
Did you read that storyline by any chance?
If it's I know of it. I know. Josh Dillon read it, told me a little bit of it. So, if I have like 1 through 8. So I think I have it. I never read it. I have like Batman New 52 #1. I bought it years ago and just never read it. So I'm gonna dive into it and actually get into it and see, because I hear bits and pieces about it, but I haven't read it myself. I don't know if it's following it faithfully though, because I know they went out of their way to say that it isn't connected to the Arkham universe. It's its own separate thing. It is the makers of Arkham Origins, so the one thing I'm only worried about is because Arkham Origins from a story standpoint was good, but the game, at least for me, it was kind of buggy. Like there was the boss fights were cool, but there was still a lot of glitches and stuff. I know like a lot of people complained about that too. And that's the one thing that worried me, because I know it was just the first trailer, but like how Paul said, it was like the villains were kind of glitchy and stuff like that. So I just hope that's not like a trend that they keep, and I'm hoping that goes away. But other than that, like I'm excited for it, but that's just my
next year though, right?
Yeah, so I don't know what version of the game we saw, to be honest. But that's just my one fear, is that the game will be buggy. So yeah, that like the funny thing about this event is like the panels were super short. They were all like 20 minutes, some were even 10. So but yeah, so the next thing right after that was the Suicide Squad panel, but for the movie, for James Gunn. So let me flip, because I got a lot of stuff for that. So this is a panel everybody got to see, right? This is the one that we all saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay, so what are you guys' first impressions off of it? Like based off of his trailer and just like what his theme is compared to the rest of the DC universe.
I downloaded the song that he had playing during the trailer. It's already on my playlist already. So, take my money. They got my money already. I'm ready to see that movie. I loved it. It was just a different take on it. It was just James Gunn adding his flair to that series. I think he could do like good things with it. So,
Paul,
I like how happy everybody was on that panel. Like,
yeah,
everybody genuinely seemed like they like to work with each other. So if there was a good set, obviously it should be maybe a good product. But knowing that it's James Gunn, I'm pretty sure it's a good product.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same. I like that the panel showcased like his passion for like just comics in general, like how they basically his name's escaping me right now. The dude that plays Polka Dot Man, how he basically said that like nobody else could direct this but James Gunn, and it's just the Misfits and stuff like that. Yeah, he's done it before with Marvel with Guardians. And you can kind of see, like, I guess the similarities that they're going to be compared because of that. But
obviously.
But yeah, I mean, it's cool because it's like offshoot characters, and some things that stuck out to me in the panel. One of the things that he did mention, and I looked it up. So they have the same special effect artists as Marvel, which is pretty cool and weird at the same time. Dan Sudik, who's done 16 MCU movies total. Told James Gunn that this movie, The Suicide Squad, has more special effects than those 16 combined, which is, that's bold to say, because the movies that Dan Sudik has worked on was all 3 Iron Mans, both Ant-Man movies, the last 2 Captain America movies, Guardians 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, and 3 out of the 4 Avengers movies. So he worked on Avengers 1, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, Black Panther, and Captain Marvel. So those 16 MCU movies are pretty effect heavy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, so we'll see. Like when he said that in the beginning, I had to go back and look. I'm like, no way. And I looked to see, because he said he worked on most of the Marvel movies. So keep in mind, up to this point, there's 23, and he worked on 16, which is half. so that speaks like volumes, I think. But like you said, it was cool. You can tell like everyone had fun, and the trailer looked really wacky. So I really fast put in some notes for the certain characters. So Bloodsport, the version we're seeing, is Robert Du Bois. So this is the character played by Idris Elba. It's the reason we got to like a breakdown is he joins the Suicide Squad because he shot Superman with a kryptonite bullet. Peacemaker is the Christopher Smith version. That's the character played by John Cena. Thinker is played by the Doctor Who actor. I forgot his name. I didn't write it down. He's playing Clifford DeVoe. And then the Rat Trap character that he has is Ratcatcher 2. But it's a girl this time, so it's a gender swap. And that's that's all I have noted for it. So those are the different character versions. Savant is a new 52 character, and then I looked up like everyone else has pretty much been rogue. They're like not just Batman villains; they're like all over the place. Like King Shark is in it, and he was like my favorite character in that intro when they showed him like how his character just like waved to the camera. So, and he looks. I think the CGI for him looks really sick. Like I think it looks really good. So.
Did they show the King Shark CG already? I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, well, not in the movie aspect, just in the intro. So like the little, because they played, essentially, I guess 2 trailers. The one that they were showing as like the trailer was the one where it showed like everyone talking about him and them like shooting the movie. And then the other one was it's Meet the Squad, and so it basically said who everyone was playing. And then King Shark. Just when King Shark popped up, it just was him waving, but he looked pretty good from that CGI. So, but Yeah, I mean, it is supposed. He also revealed a release date for it. So the thing said coming 2021, but he actually said that it's supposed to be August 6th, 2021. So that's coming straight out of James Gunn's mouth. And it's very 70 movies inspired. So that's the theme he was going for. A lot of misfits. And I think he did really good at portraying that. Sadly, the most disappointing panels were the ones I was hoping to get them more information from, because they're like my top 2 DC Universe films right now, which is Aquaman and Shazam, and they kind of there was like smaller panels in between them, but their time slots was Aquaman was at 4:05, and then Shazam was at 4:40, but they were super short. So Aquaman's panel was actually really just James Wan and the actor that plays Ocean Master reminiscing about their time on the first Aquaman, and they kind of peppered in what they want from the second movie, but all we really got from them as far as what is going to be in Aquaman 2 is its release date is sometime in 2022. Ocean Master's still in it, and they kind of teased that he's going to be doing something epic, and that the movie this time around is going to have a more serious tone, so there won't be as many comedic aspects from it. And then as far as Shazam goes, for Shazam 2, like the 10 minutes that it was, I mean, I guess it was kind of entertaining as a panel. Zachary Levi did his best to like make it funny, but they basically just revealed the title of the movie. So it's going to be Shazam 2: Fury of the Gods, and then they revealed that Sinbad will actually be in the movie. And it was kind of funny the way they revealed that. I guess Sinbad people thought he was in the first one, and he made a joke about how a lot of people think he's in a lot of movies that he's not, but he's going to rectify it and actually be in one movie this time that people think he'll be in. They just didn't tell you what his role was, but they had like a kind of realistic poster, but fake poster, and it had him in the middle. So that was pretty much all we know is that it's coming out in 2022. So the next 2 years is going to be pretty heavy with their movies. But
they're acting like Marvel.
Yeah, I mean the one thing I will say though with the cool thing about the Fandome is that it did get me excited for DC stuff, because now you can kind of see the direction they're actually willing to go, and now that I know the direction, it is interesting. Because the next panel we're going to talk about was one I was really excited for, is Black Adam. So Boss Logic and Jim Lee kind of animated like what is considered the teaser for it. So it was just The Rock talking over, basically saying, from Adam's point of view, how he starts off as a slave. He's given the powers of Shazam, which was alluded in the first Shazam movie. I don't know if you guys noticed that the character that the wizard's talking about, the figure actually does look like The Rock for a second. So
long ago, we chose a champion, and we chose recklessly. He used his power for revenge, releasing the 7 deadly sins into your world. Millions of lives were lost. Entire civilizations erased from existence.
They just basically tease that he gets the powers, but he the way he uses the powers, he gets banished, which is in the comics, and then now he's released again, and because he's released, he's basically gonna, he said he's gonna. Rock's quote was, the hierarchy of power in DC has shifted, and it ended with him on it's one of the comic book covers from a comic where it's Black Adam sitting in a throne, and they just drew it as looking like The Rock. So the cool things that we got from the panel, the direction of the movie is it's gonna follow the Black Adam origins, and then take him to where he joins the JSA. So the JSA, the Justice Society of America, is gonna be in the movie. So Atom Smasher, Hawkman, Dr. Fate, and Cyclone were the Justice Society of America that was that they're saying that it's gonna be in the film. And then its release date, he didn't state, but I think it was 2022. But that's like pretty much what the panel dropped. Did you guys see anything from that?
From the
Black Adam one, yeah.
Yeah, seen the trailer. It was just like you said, it was a cartoon. It wasn't there was no acting or nothing. You don't know who the villains are. You don't know who's gonna be in it. They kind of just, like you said, they told you Justice Society of America.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's cool. At least we kind of got a release date, tentative release date, I think, right?
I just said no. They just said that it's coming soon, but it's because it's like I know as far as before COVID, like he was supposed to start filming it, but then like COVID pushed back the production and all that stuff. So the only thing that you know is that like the direction he's wanting to take, it is gonna follow the comic book heavily. It is, and it's not. A fan asked the question is like, how faithful are you gonna be? Because Black Adam's not necessarily really a villain. He's not a hero either, and he just has his own form of justice, and so that's what he said, that he's gonna portray that there's good and evil, and then there's like the Black Adam way, and that he's gonna portray that heavily. Did you say anything of this one, Paul, or was this one not one you were able to check out?
No, I mean, I saw that little clip as far as the little animation of him like floating and stuff. I don't know, like I know this is supposed to be like their Hall H, but I felt like they need to do a little bit more. It's cool, but it didn't like exactly hype me up for the movie itself.
Gotcha.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess I just more of because I got hyped because I could tell that it was like a thing that he's been passionate about, because he's been tied to this character like before, like Man of Steel, and or actually because after it was of Man of Steel, like because then I remember in like 2009. People were saying that he was cast as Black Adam, but they never went anywhere with it other than they casted him. So this is a character he's been waiting 10 years to play. And I'm excited to see where it goes, because lately, most of the stuff Rock's made has been like pretty successful. I'm trying to think like the most recent flop, and the only one I can think of was that Skyscraper movie. But then that still made a lot of money, so. Yeah.
He's been in the I guess he's best known right now for the Fast and Furious franchise, and he did that Hobbs and Shaw.
Well, yeah. So. But I'm just saying, like it's pretty much most of the stuff he touches has been like successful. Like even his mediocre movies still made a lot of money for box office. So.
Yeah.
And then, so going in order would be the video game. So did you guys see the Suicide Squad game trailer?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So what'd you guys think of that? That's automatically a next gen. They're gonna be next gen. As far as this, I think next gen only. It's 2022, but it's at Xbox, Series X, PlayStation 5, and PC.
One thing, I'm happy that it's in the daylight, because I know like the previous what was the game that they did? Arkham City, right? Or Arkham Knight, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Arkham Knight was mainly dark.
Yeah, like the entire Arkham like collection has been dark, and then knowing that it's a Suicide Squad, I felt like it's kind of cool to see. Hopefully that it's in like the daytime, which would be nice to see Gotham in the daytime. So I think that could be definitely a good touch with this particular game.
Yeah, I think it looks really good. I like you said, the lighting. The art of it. I don't know if you guys remember the game. It came out around the time of Arkham City. It was called Gotham City Imposters. It was like a shooter game. It kind of reminds me of that art style. Just obviously way more detailed, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know like how much, if you guys know like current wrestlers and stuff like that, but the voice of King Shark for the video game is a wrestler named Samoa Joe. So I just think that's pretty cool, because he did really well, and I'm like, why does that voice sound familiar? And I looked it up, and it was him. So I'm just interested to see where it's going from that aspect. I tried looking up other things, because I had a buddy at work who told me that There's supposed to be console, like, I guess Rocksteady got approached by PlayStation. I couldn't find if it was an actual source. So if this is completely a false rumor, someone correct me, and say so. But apparently Red Hood might be in it, and he's a PlayStation exclusive. So I don't know how accurate that is, because my coworker is like more of a big Xbox guy, so he kind of like tells me like what he thinks is stupid, and he's like mad about it because it's well, I to a degree, if it is real, I kind of agree with him because like I'm kind of tired of, as far as like third-party games, I'd like them to just be crossplay, so like people who don't have the money to get both or all three consoles and you just want to play together, like I'm tired of like I have a PlayStation, you have an Xbox, or you have a PC and don't have consoles. I'm tired of that like being like a wall. Like I just think the time is now, just let it be all together so we can just play. Like it's that's just my 2 cents on that. I'm like kind of over like the, like I'm cool for console exclusives when it's on the console only, but if it's a third party game, like I really think they should just allow crossplay now.
I'm still mad about Spider-Man only being in the PlayStation Avengers. So.
Well, yeah, that's what he brought up too, because
that's something else we can talk about later. But as far as the Rocksteady Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, that's supposed to be 4-player co-op. So that's a game changer right there as well. So, and I don't know if they, like I said, if they get everything right on that one, that could be legit.
Yeah, I just wonder who the other members will be. I mean, we still got plenty of time. I mean, even if it is just those 4 characters, you have Deadshot, King Shark, Harley Quinn, and Captain Boomerang. So, I mean, it's still, I'm pretty like, sound of it, they all sound like they'd have unique gameplay anyway. So,
I would hope for more playable characters. Like Suicide Squad's you can add a bunch of characters in there. Like they have a big like a big team roster. So you could, if they add a bunch, they had the option to add a bunch of characters. I know they probably can't, but it'd be cool to add a few more. You know.
Well, I mean the advantage that it has is it's Warner Brothers. It's Warner Brothers, so like there's no like Sony Marvel thing where like they don't really have the rights to the character. Like they have the rights to all their characters. Just a matter of if, like what my friend said, if that's true, like that PlayStation came up and said, hey, we want these exclusive characters, you know, and Xbox is like, hey, we want these exclusive characters. I mean, we'll see if that's going to be a thing or if that's real, but
I'm not too familiar with Suicide Squad, so I don't even know if Red Hood is on the team roster though. You know,
I think he's been in variations of it. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I have like he told me that, and I'm like, it was one of the things that even if it's not true, I wouldn't put it past because, you know, as much as I like PlayStation, I do understand that they have been the ones that have been totally like prolonging the crossplay stuff. Like they're the ones that usually try to keep it in their own ecosystem. Like I told my buddy, they're the Apple of video games. Like everything is pretty much its own ecosystem with PlayStation.
Runs through them, yeah.
So, is there anything else?
Yeah, Xbox could not be the Apple of video games.
That was a good one, Paul. Paul with some shade right there. Oh, that was a good one. And is anything else you want to add, Paul, before we move on to the next topic?
No, like I'm pretty good with Rocksteady in their catalog, so I feel like if they can make a 4-player co-op, why not? Especially with the new power with both of the consoles. In terms of like the what's it called, the crossplay, I'm cool with that also. The exclusives, I mean, if the company pays for it, then I can't see why not. But yeah, I kind of agree. But I'm okay with the whole what's it called, exclusivity of certain characters. Just as long as they pay for it, they know what they're into.
I mean, we'll see. Just the only thing is because I know with some games that doesn't come into play anymore after a certain amount of time. Like I know, like certain fighting games, like I remember Soul Calibur, like was it Soul Calibur 4? Darth Vader was, I think, PlayStation, and Yoda was Xbox. I could have it reversed, but then after a while, like they like you could end up getting them later. You just have to pay for them. But as far as like Batman goes, I haven't, because I have it on PlayStation. I haven't done the remastered. Do you have the remastered version, Tommy?
Of which game?
The Arkham City and Arkham Asylum. Do you have it for
I don't think
Xbox?
I played the originals on Xbox 360.
Yeah.
But I haven't bought the 4K version.
Well, because I had them originally on Xbox, but Joker was a PlayStation exclusive. You could only play as Joker in.
Oh yeah.
So that's why on the remastered version, because I have it on PlayStation, that's why Joker's on there. I was just gonna see if you have the Xbox remastered version, if they threw him on there. So if anybody like who does have the Xbox version remastered, if you could just let me know if Joker is or isn't on there, because if that's the case, then I could see, because Rocksteady's done it before. So let's just say it is Red Hood, or if it's like another character, like who else is on the Suicide Squad? So let's say, what if it's like Captain Cold or something, or Killer Croc, or I wouldn't put it past that if that's the case.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna add something to that. I'm just with the Suicide Squad game. I'm kind of curious to, like, so you're going up against Justice League, so I'm wondering if any of those characters will be playable, like in like a DLC, or I don't know. Like I'm getting greedy because it'd be cool to play Superman, be Superman, or be Wonder Woman, or Green Lantern, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm assuming they'd just be boss fights. I don't know. I mean, unless there's like a but see, then that's the whole thing, because Injustice is already its own fighting game, so like I don't know. I don't know what the story mode would be like.
Injustice is cool, don't get me wrong, but Rocksteady with those characters, like I'm curious as to what they would do with them. You know what I mean? Yeah. I know it's a Suicide Squad game, but Justice League is in there, so I don't know to what extent. Because in Arkham Knight, you could play as all the characters. I know it's not co-op or nothing, but at the end in the DLC, like in the fight rooms, and then the stealth rooms, you could play as Catwoman. You could play as Batgirl.
I mean they might do that if they do that, like for challenge maps or something like that. Like you play as Superman, but because in the story mode, I'm trying to think for Arkham games. I know you had the Robin side mission.
Yeah, I got all the DLC for that.
Arkham Knight.
Maybe they're gonna do like flashbacks where you go 2 years earlier as younger selves, and then see the. Never mind. I was trying to make a Last of Us joke. Never mind.
It's all right. I mean, I was thinking of Arrow, because Arrow does flashbacks too, but yeah, no. I mean, if we're gonna go with that route, flashbacks. I mean, the only way I could see playing in the story mode is if you play as a superhero that imprisons the villain. But then I don't know how fun that would be doing that for every superhero.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, it's still 2 years away, so it's still a good though, because all they had was that trailer. There was no other gameplay footage or anything like that.
Still early.
Yeah, it's still early. The next thing we have, so it's like the last two panels that we're gonna talk about. So the next one would be the Snyder Cut, which where did I put that? Oh yeah, I just wrote it under here. Yeah. So the Snyder Cut. I know you saw the panel, Tommy. Paul, were you able to see that one, or would you just see the trailer?
I saw the trailer.
So, what'd you think of the trailer?
I mean, it looks like a totally different movie for the most part. I think you told me that there was like no real footage from the Joss Whedon one that's gonna be used on this one over here.
Yeah.
So, I'm like in the, I think the silent minority on. I think I'm actually kind of hyped for it.
Okay.
The 4-hour part is kind of intriguing because that's a lot of footage that they pretty much had. So, I'm kind of pleased to see where it's kind of heading.
Tommy, what about you?
I don't know. I don't trust. Snyder for anything. So, like, I'm intrigued just because it's Justice League, but just hearing like where he wants to take the characters, what he would have did, or with the characters.
I know we've had conversations before.
I don't trust him. I don't like his storytelling. Like we talked about this in the past. He's a great cinematographer. He makes things look great on film, but as far as telling the story, I don't trust him to come up with an original story on his own.
And Chris
So-
Terrio did help him write it in. I'm not a fan of Chris Terrio, so.
Yeah. So I don't know. What do you think about it?
So I will say after watching the panel, I'm really interested in seeing it. Like, I do want to watch it. I still don't really want to watch the Whedon version, but I'm gonna have to know what I'm seeing the differences. So I know, based off of just chatter, the red tint from the final battle scene is gone, and it looks a lot more natural on Snyder's version than the Whedon version, and now I know why. So I guess there's certain stuff that is gonna have more fleshed out. So apparently this movie, now with the 4-hour cut, will give you more background into like Aquaman. So I guess his movie will be a little. The first Aquaman movie will make more sense, I guess, because William Dafoe's character was cut out, and he was apparently in Justice League. So now they're gonna put his scene back. The other thing that I put on here that like Snyder's really excited about is pretty much, I guess, the whole inserting Cyborg into the movie, because in his version he said Cyborg is the heart of the movie. So that's basically what we saw. There's more scenes like with his dad and just Cyborg in general. So like I know it's based off what I have, because I haven't seen the original one yet, and I still can't get through it. But my one of complaints that I always joke about is the whole line with Cyborg, and apparently the line I hate is a Whedon cut. It's not actual Zack Snyder. And I know that everyone was praising Batman's portrayal in this. So I know the last line at the end of the trailer where he says he I don't care how many demons he's fought or whatever, he hasn't fought us united. Everyone was saying that that's already like a way different version of the character than what the Whedon version portrayed. I don't know, you've told me, Tommy, that Batman isn't even Batman in that. And from the small stuff I saw, like, yeah, Batman basically broke all his stuff in like the first 5 minutes you see him. So,
I felt like Snyder ruined the Batman character in
Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, in Batman vs Superman and in the Justice League. Like you said, I don't think the Justice League version of Batman was his per se. It was more Whedon, his comedy, which didn't really go well with that movie. But yeah, I just wasn't. I don't know. Like just don't get me wrong. Justice League was entertaining. Like Aquaman had some good scenes. Cyborg has some good scenes. Like they had their shining points. But I was not a fan of Batman's character in that movie at all. And I wasn't a fan of it in the Batman vs Superman movie, except for that warehouse scene. That warehouse scene was good.
Yeah.
Repeat up all
the scene that's literally the Arkham Knight fight to a T.
Yeah. I mean, I love those video games, so that was good to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's some interesting things to note is that for people that don't have HBO Max, there's a distribution plan coming, so it looks like they're gonna try to release it in Blu-ray form, or digitally somehow, so that other people can get it. So WB's on board with it now. Just in general, like from like a filmmaker standpoint, because I guess it's still a double-edged sword that the fans kind of created this, because now you're seeing a lot of entitlement coming out of it for other just basically like films in general. Like people are now wanting a J.J. Abrams cut of Rise of Skywalker, the original Suicide Squad. They want a Dave Akers cut, and it's like I guess it's if the studio cut down the original version, like let's give an example, like not DC, like Marvel. Well, Fox Studios Marvel, the god-awful Josh Trank Fantastic Four film, that like Josh Trank says that the studio completely changed and like ruined his vision. Like if he wanted to make a director's cut, I guess I would like see it, because I like if it was the point where like they hampered his vision so much that it's like wasn't his movie anymore, then yeah, I'm interested in seeing it from that aspect, not just remake the movie because it sucked. Like if am I making sense? Like, you guys get what I'm saying? Like, it's not.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like it's okay. The movie was shitty. The director's version's better. No, not necessarily. It's just like I guess that's what made me kind of more interested with the Snyder version. Even though like some of the stuff that's come out that would have happened in the movie, I'm not 100% on. But I guess it's just willing to see, like, he had a trilogy plan and it kind of got taken from under him, and it's come in light that the studio was kind of a dick to him, and the whole thing with his daughter, it was pretty messed up. So I will apologize for being kind of a dick in the beginning. Like, when I first saw the trailer at work, because the song is the Hallelujah song from Watchmen, and I thought that was pretty pretentious. But then apparently the reason, like, multiple people have said it. It's been in comments and then like on other, like, they're sketchy sources though. Like, We Got It Covered and stuff like that. But apparently the reason he also put the trailer in was not just like a jab at like the Whedon cut, but apparently Hallelujah is like his daughter's favorite song. So it was kind of like a thing for his daughter too. So if that's the case, I apologize for calling it pretentious, because then I understand why you would want to put it in there. And then really fast, just bring up that thing with his daughter. It's pretty cool. Like, I'm probably gonna get one, not the Just Snyder Cut T-shirt, but he does have a thing right now. It's called Ink to the People /Zack-Snyder, and he's basically selling shirts, and all the money from them goes for suicide awareness. So it's pretty cool cause. There's one that you can buy that is on the back it says associate producer, and it's blank, so you can put your name in. And it says Snyder Cut. The one I would get, it's called All the Gods, and it's basically got just a bunch of DC symbols, and it's same thing. It goes to suicide awareness. So just throwing that out there if anybody wants to
That's cool.
do a good cause. It's once again Ink to the People /Zack-Snyder, and I'm gonna put it on the show notes at the end of the show. So then some of this, there's another one too, and it goes to another foundation. And it's for art, and it's kind of weird. So it's like Superman, like half of it's taken off, and it's like, I thought it was Cyborg, but then when I enlarge the picture, it's like liquidy. So I don't really know what it is, but it's some of it's Batman, Superman, and then something else. But they're all like for foundation, so it's 100% of the profits. So that's pretty cool. If you guys want to check that out. Is there anything else you guys want to say about it?
Nah.
It's fine. No, it's cool, man.
Oh, what is technically canon then? Is it gonna be Joss Whedon, parts of it? What's canon?
I'm pretty. Go ahead, Tom.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Eddie. They're talking about it with the Flash movie. The Flash, they're gonna do like a Flashpoint paradox, like and I think they're gonna use that to reset the whole universe. Like, they're gonna bring all the Batmans in. Like, they're talking, like, they cast Michael Keaton Batman. What's called Batman's in there? Ben Affleck.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna do Pattinson in there. I don't know how that's gonna work out. But
I think I get George Clooney.
I haven't heard about George Clooney.
No, Forever and George Clooney is not a Kilmer and him are not considered canon for that. So.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, an article I read too. I have to pull that up. I don't know if it was Deadline, Variety. One of them that said Keaton was basically specifying that, like, Keaton being inserted makes that, like, universe relevant. So the reason Kilmer and Clooney are discontinued is because they're supposed to be a continuation of that universe anyway. So Michael Keaton would be the version out of it, but it does Christian Bale's version of Batman would still exist, so technically it's a loophole to bring him in if you wanted to do that, which I'm all for if they ever go that route. But or in that aspect, it would be Joseph Gordon-Levitt, since he took on the mantle at the end of the trilogy.
You think there's gonna be an Adam West sighting?
If they do like a posthumous tribute, I would be cool with that. I don't see why they couldn't. If they do like it depends on how they're gonna establish that multi. If they do, like, do you guys watch the Flash TV show, or have you seen any of it? So
I didn't see that. I seen the clip with Grant Gustafson and Zach Ezra Miller, I think. Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
So I seen that scene, but I watched like the first 2 seasons and I stopped watching it.
Well, the only reason I bring up the Flash TV show is that when he's gone through the Speed Force, I think was it 3rd season, there was one. I don't remember the season, but like they show basically kind of like a cheesy way. They show like the different dimensions, and the dimension was the '90s Flash, which he ends up being in that anyway. But if they do something like that where he runs through, like, if they do that in like Speed Force where you can see like the other zone, if you have it be like for a brief second you look and it's Adam West, that's how you can kind of do it, and it's like respectful done. So if they do something like that, I could see that happening. But as far as like what's considered canon, I think it's depending on how successful this is, because I know because they wanted to do because until the Snyder Cut was a thing, Ben Affleck wasn't gonna be Batman anymore, and then like because they're making the Snyder Cut, because the whole reason they were, I think, talking to Keaton was because he stepped out, because I think it was like last year, like even before COVID or anything like that, because the Flash movie's been through like development hell, like it's gone through I think like 4 or 5 directors, so whatever director was attached two announcements ago is when he stepped away, and then when he stepped away that director was like fuck, and then so like they dipped out that director. So I know after, because now basically I don't think the Whedon version will become canon unless the Snyder version is that god awful that everyone's like, you know what, this is better anyway, because of all the like shit talking the cast is doing on Whedon now. So like it came to light that he treated them all like kind of crap, and that so like I know as far as the DC side, he's not well liked anymore, and he's not doing the Batgirl movie anymore. So it's just sometime next year. 4 hours long, 1 hour each. So are you guys gonna watch it like that, or are you gonna watch it? Because he said he's also gonna try to make like just a super long 4 hour cut if you want to watch it in one sitting.
I think the 4 1 hour episodes would be fine by me.
I don't know if I'd be able to watch them like. See, it depends. Like if because I'm not a hardcore like Lord of the Rings guy, so I haven't ever attempted to watch any of those extended cuts. But
yeah,
I heard that unless you aren't a fan of it, like they can be very daunting to watch. So I wonder if this would be in that regard. Because on the flip side, since I love Star Wars, I'd be down to watch like a long ass cut of Star Wars. But even like on the Marvel side, like if they made Endgame like another hour or so, I probably would have been fine with it. But that's just because I love those characters. So
yeah.
Yeah.
But the last topic, keeping in the realm of Batman, is The Batman by Matt Reeves. They started filming, so from the footage that they had, which was like pretty much pre-COVID, they were able to produce, I think, a pretty kick-ass trailer. My impressions of it, even though I know I'm not supposed to, I got like a Christopher Nolan vibe from it. Like, it seems like a grounded Batman. It doesn't seem like really gothic like Tim Burton, but it'll still like kind of dark and gritty, kind of like what they're trying to do with Zack Snyder stuff. But it, like the Batmobile looked like a car, and it seemed more grounded in realism. So, I don't know. What did you guys get from the impression of the trailer?
Go ahead, Paul.
I like the trailer overall. Like, I like how cinematic it looks. I like the color grading on this one. I think the color, to me, is what kind of separates it from all the other Batmans. But it could be just the trailer. But overall, I think Robert Pattinson, I think he looks good in the suit, more or less. I think people were thinking that he's going to be looking too skinny, but I think he fits the suit pretty well. That one scene where there's like that car that goes through like some church or whatever, and you see Bruce. I don't know in what stage of life this Bruce Wayne is, but it looks kind of odd. But I think overall, like, the movie looks pretty well, pretty well good. I like it.
Yeah. It looks good so far. I do think he looks skinny. Like, I thought he should have. You know. But I mean, it looks good. I like with me and DC. Like, I'm just wondering how if they're gonna try to tie it in with Wonder Woman and the Superman movie, and if they ever do come out with Superman, Shazam, Black Adam, Suicide Squad. Like, I'm curious as to what they're gonna do as far as the whole overall universe, the cinematic universe they're doing. If they're gonna even try it anymore.
Well, I was under the impression it wasn't from this panel. He didn't say, but he said it before. I think it was around the time at Comic-Con, that this Batman is separate. Like the Joker film with Joaquin Phoenix, it's its own separate thing. It doesn't. It exists outside.
Are you okay with that? Or
Yes and no. So I know we kind of when that thing we said on Instagram. So I was trying to find the source of it because people have come out and said the same thing I said, where he went on record to say that the Joker doesn't exist in this world. And I know it's kind of confusing because the trailer has people that kind of have like the clown makeup that reminded me of like Heath Ledger's Joker with the black circles and the white. But he went like. He said the Joker doesn't exist in this world. And I think that's a smart thing to say because especially with... It could have been in a direction that he was talking about that Joker that Joaquin Phoenix played because I know everyone wanted them to be connected and he said they're not. It could have been in relation to that and it was a misquote. But he said the Joker doesn't exist in this world. So I don't know if the Joker is coming in this world. We're getting a different version. But as far as I know, this is a standalone film. It's just his version of the Batman. So did you guys see the panel or you just saw the trailer?
Just the trailer.
I think I just seen the trailer.
Yeah, so yeah, because the panel gave some interesting stuff. So it is not year one like Begins. He hasn't been Batman for a while. He's still learning Batman. This is year 2. So he's year 2 being Batman. So the dynamic that Matt Reeves said he was very excited to take is that he's still not the character that is like the comic version where he's like really like he knows how to be Batman and all that stuff. It's not like that. He's still learning how to be Batman. He's making mistakes. The public still fears him. They don't know if he's real. He's a legend. The storyline that he's trying to create kind of gives me like the Telltale series from Batman. So did you guys play that version of Batman, the Telltale series games? Did you guys play them?
Yeah.
I didn't play those ones. I think I have them though. I think they gave them away for free. I think on Xbox a few months back. So I do have them. I gotta play them.
I won't spoil it for you, Tommy. But the origin of it is kind of like cemented. It's like it's basically bringing up the past. Because like the trailer says like no more lies. Like when the body is taped up with the duct tape around it. And it there's a voiceover where it says that like he's evolved somehow and as Bruce Wayne. So that game basically has like a retelling origin of like Bruce Wayne's parents. It gives you a different perspective of them, of not necessarily being the victims that they were accustomed to being in all of like DC. So it just gave me that same kind of vibe from the way that it was portraying the villains that we're getting in here. That he confirmed is the Riddler, which is why the question mark was at the end of the teaser, was because it's Riddler. He said Catwoman's in it. I don't know if she's necessarily going to be a villain, but she is in it. Penguin.
She looked good though.
Yeah, she did. I want to see more of her character. I'm interested to see where that's going to go. Penguin, who wasn't really in the teaser, but it is being played by Colin Farrell. And then Carmine Falcone is in it. So those were like the villains that Matt Reeves said are in it.
Who's playing Carmine Falcone again?
He said it, but I didn't write it down. Hold on, let me look it up because it should all be up to date now. It was John something. Let's see, because Jeffrey Wright plays Jim Gordon, and some people in the beginning, I think since the teaser came out, I haven't seen anything bad about it, but people were kind of upset that they were switching his race because Jeffrey Wright's black and Jim Gordon isn't black, but it didn't seem to be an issue for that teaser, so.
Yeah, no, I don't have an issue with him being black or white.
Yeah, like I don't. There's only like when I sent you that thing with the New Mutants thing, like I only think certain comic book characters need to be that race when it's like an identity of their character. Example, Black Panther. Like, it'd be pretty weird to have a white guy be Black Panther. I think it defeats the purpose. Same thing with like Magneto. Like Magneto, essentially, I guess you could cast him as a black Jew, but he has to be Jewish. Like that's the whole origin of Magneto. So
yeah,
like certain stuff like that. Like that's where you have to follow. But like again, it's a bad movie to use, but a good example. Josh Trank's Fantastic Four. Like I had no problem with Michael B. Jordan being Human Torch. Like that didn't bother me at all.
Not at all.
John Turturro, Carmine Falcone, and
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Yeah, so it is John Turturro. He is Simmons from Transformers. So
Yes, he is.
yeah, Carmine Falcone. That should be interesting. I could see him playing that really good. So yeah, that's because we have because all he really gave as far as like the Riddler is he says it's a different version of the Riddler that you haven't seen. So obviously it's not going to be like Jim Carrey. It might not even be like the games. Penguin, he said, is still not the Penguin, but people give him the nickname, so he doesn't like being called the Penguin, which is why I said it feels more like that video game. And then he said that Selena Kyle, because he didn't call her Catwoman, but he just said that she plays a good version of Selena Kyle. But so I don't know if it's going to be like Dark Knight Rises, where she's not really called Catwoman. So, but yeah, they're still shooting stuff. Well, they're going to start again, but the filming is, let me see. I think it's updated. I think if I'm not mistaken, they were able to go back to work. I don't think it says that here. But yeah, the color scheme of red and black also gives me like kind of like a graphic novel version. So I guess not so much Dark Knight Returns, but somewhere in between. I don't know. I do like the black and red though.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, Robert Pattinson's a good actor. Matt Reeves is a great director. So, I mean, I have high hopes for that movie. I just wish they would try to tie it in the overall universe. You know what I mean? So,
well, I think this movie, as far as you got to remember, DC has been a roller coaster of they have no idea what the fuck they're doing. Like, just to put it bluntly. So, this movie was written in response to the fact that Ben Affleck stepped down. Justice League had totally bombed, so they were already saying, you know what, we can't do the shared universe thing. Let's just do our own thing. And that's why the Joker movie was the start of that, and saying that, okay, if this is doomed to be successful, then yes, we're going to go back to making separate franchises. And that's why this was being made that way, is like, it was like, oh, okay, well, we can't do the movies working like that, so let's do it separately. And that's why the whole thing of like this Batman is by itself, all that stuff. Then because the Snyder Cut, and then, you know, Ben Affleck's like, you know what, I'll be Batman again. Oh shit, really? Okay, well, we might. So like, they're kind of still scrambling on what they're doing with that. And I think as soon as the Snyder Cut comes out, and gets the final reception that it's supposed to get, I think then they'll finally take a stance and say, we're going here, we're going there. Because that's because I noticed now that other movies, like, they apparently had a direction for Aquaman 2, but like, from that lack of that panel, all we know is it's going to be more serious. That Trench movie is now pending. So I don't know. Like, it's the fandom gave you some direction, but not all of it. And it's I will know next year compared to Marvel, though, they're going to be the more dominant comic book studio. Because Marvel's only going to have, well, what are they having next year? I think everything got pushed back.
Oh, everything got pushed back.
Yeah, because it's all 2022. Yeah, man. I know the Batman movie was the most talked about thing. The Batsuit, like, I guess he consulted Christian Bale on it. That's one of the things the panel revealed too, is that Robert Pattinson got advice from Christian Bale, and Christian Bale told him to make sure that they have a way for you to relieve yourself in the suit. So I guess they made it. That one of the things was it's more mobile. So like Dark Knight, he can turn his head and stuff. Because Zack Snyder's version made it where Batman had to turn his whole torso again. They made him not have a neck again. So I know that Matt Reeves joked that it was easier for Robert Pattinson to get in and out of the suit. So that was something that they wanted. What do you think about now that we saw it in motion, the gun emblem, how it's like the guns that make the bat?
Did they talk about that? His chest thing?
No, they didn't talk about it. It's just I mean, he just showed the trailer, but we saw it in action as opposed to just a picture. So it's Matt Reeves didn't bring it up, but people have brought out that it was like to that Kevin Smith comic, the Batman 1000, how like he put he melted the gun that killed his parents and put him in the emblem. So like if someone were to shoot him, it'll stop a bullet. Is basically like the poetic justice they put on it, that it'll save him, and considering that it killed his parents. So I guess that's what they were going for, because the gun that killed his parents. He split it into two, and that's why it makes the bat.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool backstory with it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, from the color scheme, it's cool. I don't. The only thing that they didn't show was the scene from what was the still where he was like in London, because this Gotham City that he the panel, he said that it's not like Nolan's, where you could tell it was Chicago, New York, and like LA. Like he didn't want to give up where they shot, but they shot in London, but they basically with CGI, they're going to CGI buildings to make it look more modern, and his goal is that when you look at it, you're not going to know where it is. Like you're not going to be able to tell that Gotham City is based off of like a real city. Like it's just going to be its own thing. So I guess that's kind of cool. But yeah, because that's pretty much all I have on it. It's just those little tidbits I wrote down. And
there's no release date on that either, huh? Sometime next year, I think.
Because Robert Pattinson,
least, I would say 2022.
It's 2021 still. It's expected October. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
What was your like? I don't know, most anticipated. What are you most excited about? Coming out of the DC fandom, like what was your thing? You're like
from the panels alone, only because it's the most fleshed out thing. Suicide Squad. It's just it's own unique thing where it's like, I don't know, it's like gravitating. And then the Batman thing, like but the teaser was like the perfect teaser, because I want to see more. Like I'm excited where they're taking it, and I guess just Christopher Nolan spoiled me in having like a grounded Batman, so I like that he's like grounded. And
yeah,
I'm still like a firm believer of the Batman not killing thing, but I'll let it slide if like the Joker isn't in this, because that's the whole thing of Batman killing is you ruin the relationship with him and Joker, because Joker wants him to kill. That's the whole reason Joker does what he does. So the minute he kills, he's not Batman anymore. That's why I don't like the Snyder version. So that's just my 2 cents on that. So depending on where this goes, like it gives me the Christopher Nolan like it just gives me Christopher Nolan vibes. And I know it's not his intent. It's just with the car and the setting of Gotham that we saw. Like it didn't look like Tim Burton's version, and it doesn't look like Zack Snyder's. Because the one thing I forgot to mention on the Snyder Cut trailer was the scene with Batman on that Grim Reaper statue. That's the cop precinct, so that's pretty grim for like the cops to have a Grim Reaper statue.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just dark as shit. So we'll see. It's 2 different entities. What about you guys? What out of all the trailers you saw, like what made you really excited?
Paul, you go ahead.
I think the games, more or less. When it comes to like the movies, I feel like I've kind of been a little bit let down for the most part, so I'm kind of cautious with that. But I know as far as like the studios behind the games, I'm okay with. So I just want to see where they kind of progress with that. And plus I get to probably play the co-op with you guys, so
yeah,
why not?
I'm gonna have to start buying my games on the PlayStation console. And you know what? I was thinking about it as far as the next gen consoles, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. I'm thinking about getting it just to, because they were saying one of the features of it, everything loads faster. Like you get into a game within seconds instead of like minutes, you know. So I think that'd be cool. So I might have to try to get it day one, but we'll see.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be day one.
I don't know, man. I don't think me or Paul right now are slinging for day one on anything. Nothing has wowed me from both consoles to pull the trigger for day one. Like right now, it's looking like it's gonna be an unresponsible purchase of my income tax. That's the way that it's looking at right now. But yeah, for the fandom though, was there anything like in particular you were more excited on that you saw?
I'm gonna agree with Paul and say the video games. I played all the Arkham games, like all of them, even the WB Montreal studio, the Arkham Origins. So I played them all. I love all of them, some more than others. They both got me intrigued with the co-op. Like we as I was playing there, like it'd be cool if I played alongside Robin, as Batman, whatever. So that co-op feature has me intrigued. Not too familiar with the Suicide Squad characters, but I'm a big fan of Rocksteady, so I think it'd just be cool. It's different. I always like different things, so I think it'd be cool. The other one, the Montreal one, it doesn't look as polished as I would want it to be, but they still have some time to clean it up, I guess.
Yeah, it just depends on what version of that game we got.
Yeah, it doesn't look next gen. It looks current gen, and it looks okay. It looks kind of cartoony, but we'll see. But I am intrigued. And then Suicide Squad was a standout as far as the trailer, the movie, what's the director's name?
James Gunn.
James Gunn. So yeah, that movie got me. I'm looking forward to that movie. Out of all the movies, over Batman, over the Snyder Cut, anything, the Suicide Squad got me intrigued. Batman looks cool, but just James Gunn on Suicide Squad, I want to see what he could do.
So, depending on how this year goes, like, since Paul asked, like, what's the canon, like, do you want it to be like, you want them to continue making it, since right now the only one who's got an official sequel technically in the can is Wonder Woman. So, like, depending on that do you think, like, let's say for some reason Wonder Woman 2 isn't good or whatever, and do you think they should just go back to being separate movies, and then the movies that are like in development just let them still be a sequel but no longer attached, or do you guys think they should still try to do the shared universe or just give up on it?
I'm hoping the Flash movie, like I was saying earlier with the Flashpoint, I'm hoping that clears up all potholes, ties up all loose ends, and maybe gives them a fresh start moving forward. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I think in each of these new movies, you're just gonna see a little tiny scene, not how like Marvel does it, where it's at the end, but you might see like the Flash running or just like whiz by, but you just think it might be like a little glitch in the movie.
I got
Maybe that kind of connects all the movies forward, you know?
Yeah. So I'm hoping for something like that if they're able to do it. Like, and I would hope they would tie in the Robert Pattinson Batman as well. I know you're saying that he's kind of going the Nolan route and kind of doing his own thing and more of a grounded universe, but it'll be cool just to have Batman with Superman with the director that knows what he's doing with the characters and makes a good movie with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I just think it depends. Like the Flashpoint, the direction they're wanting to take it now with establishing the multiverses does make it more interesting, because I guess depending on how well that does, depending on who sticks, maybe you can pull different because if it's gonna be different multiverses, maybe you can pull different multiverse versions. Like, let's say Henry Cavill doesn't come back as Superman, so you pull Superman in from another multiverse. I'm just throwing it out there. What if they like gave Brandon Roth another chance? Oh, okay, well, let's pull you, and now you're the canon Superman for this universe because we pulled you out. I don't know. I guess it's like a cheat, but we'll see.
It's a cheap way to fix all their problems, but they need to figure out something. Like they're getting their butt kicked. Like I said, the one advantage they have over Marvel is they own all the rights to their characters, and it feels like they're just kind of like pissing it away, kind of thing. where they're not taking full advantage of all their properties, all their intellectual property. They need to find somebody that's gonna put them on the right direction and then go forward with it. Marvel laid the blueprint already. You just gotta follow it. Like they try to jump ahead right away when they made that Justice League movie. After they made, I think they made 2 Justice League. Like, that was way too quick. So
yeah, I think that's just what it was. They wanted to try to establish that, they're different from Marvel, but it's just it didn't take. I think it's just one of those things. It's like they're not still clear picture, and it's very much. It seems like they make the movies on the fly, and it just into the. I don't want to say it's like, because I don't never want to say anyone's entitled to anything, but it's just like the stigma behind like superhero movies now is that there is more or less, I guess. Like you said, Marvel set the blueprint. So it's just like people are kind of, if you're going to do this whole shared universe thing, you kind of want to have it building up to something, not just like, hey, this movie's this. Hey, this movie's this. Hey, look, they're together now. It's like, okay, but for what purpose? Like, I guess if they don't have a clear direction and it's not just like, you can't really get excited because you don't know where they're going. So and I guess it's also too because they didn't really take a stance. They kind of backpedaled, so they kind of were like, "Oh shit, sorry, here you go, everything's better now, right?" So and then you're kind of like, "What the hell? Like that feels cheap." So you have no backbone. So then you just kind of like, "Why should I believe in your movies when you don't?" So
I just thought they needed to be more patient, and they needed to have somebody to oversee everything, to guide them in the right direction, and have like a plan on what they were gonna do with the characters and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess yeah. I mean, as far as like if the plan was always to do the Batman vs Superman team up, even if they didn't want to give Batman his own movie, because I get it, the Dark Knight trilogy had just been, it would have been 4 years before it. So I mean. Yeah, I don't know. I think you should have done another Superman movie instead of Batman vs Superman. And then, like, you could have done Wonder Woman by itself, Aquaman. I mean, if you wanted to have Justice League be the first, because I guess Justice League, if I'm comparing it to Marvel, which I'm not supposed to, but whatever. If you want to use it like Civil War, how Civil War's first appearance was for Black Panther and Spider-Man, and then their next entities were their own movies. I guess you could do it that way too, but I don't know, man. I think Batman vs Superman didn't click with me, because that's like going back to the Snyder Cut. Why I'm still kind of like, I'm interested, but I'm still skeptical, because like how you said, Zack Snyder's great cinematographer, but his writing kind of sucks, and his movies can't really stand on their own 2 legs when he writes them solo. I just feel that like his version of Batman was really bad, and so. I just feel that like Justice League's gonna do the same thing, so I don't know. I don't know.
He kind of lashed out when people critique him over the whole fact that Batman kills, and that's kind of Batman's identity, that he doesn't kill. Like Captain America kill you, Spider-Man will kill you. Like not intentionally, but it's not against their moral code, I guess. Where Batman, that's his code. Like he doesn't kill anybody. And I think somebody critiqued him, and he's like, "Oh, grow up. It's the new it's the new thing, whatever. Like he needs to adapt to the times or whatever." And
well, I think it's one of those things too, where it's like, because he he is a filmmaker, so he ends up taking that route where it's like his medium, which I get it, but at the same time, then like if that's the case, then don't call it that material. Say this is something different, inspired by, not. This is the end-all, be-all version of the character.
Do an Elseworlds thing and direct the Thomas Wayne movie. The Thomas Wayne Batman, the Batman Earth 2, he kills. You know what I mean? Like, do something like that. Don't, like, I understand, like, he wants to take the character in a different direction, but that's the essence of the character, so you don't want to, like, tamper with that. You could tamper with other things, but not that. So, I don't know. That's where my criticism comes from, So... They get the video game part of it right.
I'll even tell you they get their animated part, right? Too.
Yeah, the animated movies are really good as well, but they're lacking, and they just don't have a direct. They don't have a sense of direction when it comes to the movie. So that's where I'm kind of at right now.
Well, I think that's where it's just the problem is the one good thing that I guess would come out of the Snyder Cut is hopefully that the studio will learn to not meddle so much.
Yeah.
And if they're gonna meddle, it would have to be because they're going in a concrete plan, which I guess would technically be the Marvel route. But because from just that panel, what he was saying was that they didn't want Superman in a black suit because it's too dark. So
Yeah.
so that's why. And he was like, I'll give him credit because you can tell he does like have some comic book knowledge. Because I just don't know if like some of it is like actual like throwback, or if it's kind of like a fan service in the point of like, see, I read this comic, I know what I'm doing type thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if it's like that type of thing, but yeah. I mean it is what it is. I'm still like, I will say this: the Fandome, as far as just like a convention in itself. Just speaking of the Fandome itself, I do think they did execute it well with like the engagement and stuff like that, because they did have a store. I forgot to mention that they did have a store, and the store was really cool. Like it did feel like a Comic-Con store because they had a lot of artwork. They had like where you can get T-shirts and stuff like that. They had some sales based off of like collectibles and stuff like that. Like all the video games on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC were like 80% off for DC games, so that was cool. But I already own most of them, so. Because as far as this goes, though, do you feel that compared to Comic-Con, you guys think it was a little more intuitive than Comic-Con, or you think Comic-Con still did the virtual convention better?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed all the information that came out of it. I loved like seeing the video game trailers, even though we didn't get no gameplay from the Rocksteady version of it. The movie trailers were great. Like sometimes at Comic-Con they'll drop the stuff in Hall H, but you can't see it. Like you have to stay in line for 24 hours to see it. So I was glad. Like I'd rather just let the fans get a taste of it, and like let them start anticipating and looking forward to it. So I mean, I loved it. Like there was a lot of good information coming out. Like we got the Batman trailer, we got the Zack Snyder Justice League version, the Snyder Cut. We got Suicide Squad. We got both video games. Like that was a lot of good information coming out of there. So Wonder Woman. So yeah.
Paul, do you feel the same way, or do you still feel it was like lackey?
I think it's still kind of lackey, but I'm just gonna say that it's the first one of these type of things anyway, so I think that's fine. I don't think that they should do a separate week one. I think they should have done it where it's just either like as a weekend or just not. I think you would have to save your big guns for the end, so I think if they switch spots and did like TV spots first or whatever, and then all their other stuff, I think that could work. Having it like to watch it next week for some other smaller stuff. I don't know. I think they could have done better on that.
So you're saying they shouldn't do Coachella? How Coachella has, because like
they should not.
Yeah.
Correct with the whole 2 week.
Yeah, because Coachella, I think it's like it depends on like your tastes of what weekend is the better weekend. So I think that's what maybe they were trying to go for that, but I don't know. Okay. Well, we actually talked a lot longer than I thought we would for that stuff, considering how late it was. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really have anything else to say unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about.
I'll finish this one off. I don't know when this is gonna be released, but I'm just gonna say happy birthday, Tommy. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Birthday.
It's on Monday, so.
So as far as the episode, I think we're gonna call it a night because I do gotta go to work early.
Oh, my bad.
It's all good. I know Paul does too. Paul goes an hour before me. So.
What time you have to work tomorrow, Paul?
10.
Oh.
Yeah. So we'll call it a night here. But thanks for listening, guys, and please like, rate, comment. I do have that TeePublic store up. I'll send you the link, Tommy. I did put it up. So it's teepublic.com/user/geek-conclave. As I said before, all the proceeds are gonna help me build a new computer, get a camera. Yes.
I need a camera.
So that I can actually have clear footage and then make movies. So, all right, that's it. I'll talk to you guys later, and I'll try to put this thing up ASAP. So